So let's look at special cases. We know we have HOI and we have VUX. Now what these acronyms tell us is that the H stands for a horizontal line. Because if it is a y equals equation, we're going to end up with just a horizontal line that's parallel to the x-axis, right? Because the x-axis is horizontal. This O is technically our zero slope. And then the y is our y-intercept, or it's telling us HOI is always written as a y equals equation. Now for VUX, the V stands for vertical line because it's going to go straight up and down parallel to the y-axis. The U represents our undefined slope, right? That's when you usually get 0 in the denominator. 0 underneath means an undefined slope. And then the X, yep, you've got it. It's our x-intercept or our x equals equation. Now, when directions are telling us, we want this equation in standard form, or we want it in point slope form, or we want it in slope intercept form. All of these forms, well, guess what? For special cases, if you have a zero slope or an undefined slope, they can only be written in these two ways. X equals a number or y equals a number. That's already in the form. There's only those two ways to write the special cases, right? So now take these notes on a separate piece of paper, put them right onto the packet, page 19. Do what you need to do, but make sure you remember these things. So now, I'm going to get my ruler for page 19. Remember, a horizontal line, right, parallel to the x-axis, because HOI is horizontal. All right. So, it's not perfect, even though I used a ruler. There we go. This equation is going to be y equals, right? Because HOI, it's a horizontal line. The y equals, and I see that it is y equals 2 because our intercept is right there. It intercepts the y-axis at 2. Now, I'm going to take my ruler and draw an example of a VUX. Draw a vertical line, have my arrows, and that one is going to be x equals -2 because it intercepts the x-axis at -2 and it's an x equals equation. That's it. Even though if like my teacher or the directions tell me I want this in standard form, guess what? It's still x equals -2. Point slope form, x equals -2. Slope intercept form, x equals -2. That's it. You can't do it in any other formats. You can't turn it into a different equation because you only have one variable and you have one number. That's all you can do with it for special cases, right? This is why they are special cases. So let's take a look at these examples. These directions are telling us that we want to write the equation of the line given the slope and it goes through a point. So usually we ask ourselves those two key questions, right? What do I have? And what can I do? So what do I have? I have a point and a slope for questions numbers 1 through 4. For every single one of those, I have a point and a slope. So usually your mind is going to be like, ooh, what can I do? I can do point slope form. Now, one thing that's going to trip us up is that we have to check for these things now. We're going to have to check if there's if there is a zero slope or an undefined slope, because that changes the game. This tells us, ooh, that's a special case, meaning I'm not putting this into any type of format or anything. This is just y equals a number or x equals a number, depending on if the slope is 0 or if the slope is undefined. But how do we do this? So let's take a look at it. If we have a 0 slope, we already know that that is HOI. Okay, that means I'm going to have a y equals equation. And what I want to do is take the y-intercept of the point. There it is. Now, a lot of you are probably staring at the screen going, wait, what? That is it? Yeah, no tricks, promise, no rabbit coming out of a hat. No, this is it. Let's take a look at the next one. Number 2. Slope is 0. Okay, that's ahoy. Let's see if you beat me to the answer already. I take the y-intercept. Sorry, not the y-intercept. I take the y-coordinate of the point that's given to me. So y equals 9. The reason that this method works is because if you have a horizontal line, every single y-intercept that's on that line or y-coordinate that's on that line is going to be 9. Every single time, right? It's going to be 0, 9, 5, 9, 3, 9, negative 100, 9. It's going to be on that horizontal line. All right? What about an undefined slope? We know that that is Vux. And now, no, you don't have to write Hoy and Vux next to every single one. It sometimes just helps me when I do this because if I know it's Vux, oh, x equals equation. Oh, x coordinate. So I get x equals 4. Now try and do the next one before I write it down myself. Pause the video, do what you have to. I know this is Vux because it's an undefined slope. Take the x coordinate. X equals negative 4. Simple as that. Now, the only other times where you might trip up and be like, well, I'm going to ask my questions of what do I do, what do I have, and what can I do? Because now I'm given these 2 points. Well, usually from there, you can always solve for the slope, right? When we solve for the slope, right, let's label these as x1, y1, x2, y2. Slope formula, remember, that is m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. I get 5 minus 3 over 2 minus 2. I get 2 over 0. Oh, wait. What did we say? 0 underneath means slope is undefined. So that means it's going to be a Vux, right? So our equation is going to be x equals, hey, what do you notice? Both of my x coordinates are 2. That could also be a hint for a vertical line or a horizontal line, like a special case. So then in this case, it's x equals 2. Now, if we follow that pattern of looking at the x coordinates or the y coordinates, it's going to be consistent. But honestly, I'm going to tell you to always solve for the slope first, just to double check it, all right? Solve for the slope. Because what you'll notice is that it's easy to make mistakes when you start using those tricks. Like this one. I see it's negative 5, and I'm going to be like, ooh, x equals negative 5. But guess what? That's not right. Because that's not the x coordinate, that's the y coordinate. In this case, it's y equals negative 5. So be careful with that. I'm going to give you the next 2 answers. Again, make sure you solve for slope. Take this step. I'm going to highlight it again in purple. Take this step, solve for slope. See if you get 0 over a number or you get a number over 0. If it's a number over 0, it is a Vux, right? Because you can't actually divide by 0. If it is a 0 over number, it is a Hoy because you're just going to get 0 as a number. This simplifies to 0. This simplifies to undefined. So for number 7, your answer is y equals 6. And for number 8, it is x equals 3. Hopefully this makes a lot more sense to you. If not, I know it's math, but practice does help us a little bit more.